23 mansions, 61 plots of land, a fleet of 7 limousines, including a Rolls-Royce left rotting while the country bled, and a 60-story black monolith looming over the city like a tombstone. When investigators cracked his accounts, they didn't count in millions. They measured in percentages of GDP. This was Daim Zainuddin. To the public, a grandfather in sandals. To the elites, the godfather. He didn't use a Tommy gun. He used contracts. He didn't leave a horse's head to send a message. A single phone call could erase an empire overnight. He didn't just steal money. He built a machine so perfect that even from the grave, it is still fighting back. To understand a heist of this scale, you have to understand the man who designed it, because he wasn't your typical flashy billionaire. If you met Daim Zainuddin in the 1980s, you would have thought he was a retired schoolteacher. He didn't wear Italian suits. He wore loose shirts. He didn't wear Patek Philippe's. He wore cheap digital watches. He famously attended high-level government meetings in $5 sandals. But this wasn't humility. It was camouflage. While he was playing the role of the thrifty grandfather, he was quietly taking control of the entire nation's wallet. He held the keys to the war chest, a secret slush fund used to keep the ruling regime in power forever. In this country, the party wasn't just a political organization. It was a business, and Daim was the treasurer. If a minister wanted to keep his job, he didn't kiss the prime minister's ring. He kissed Daim's. He built a structure that would make a mafia family jealous. He handpicked his capos, trusted businessmen who acted as his proxies, and gave them territories to run. One guy got the highways. Another got the airlines. Another got the banks. He was the ultimate gray man. He understood that in a world of loud, flashy corruption, the quietest man in the room is the one who walks away with the most. And while everyone else was fighting for scraps, Daim was rewriting the rules of the economy to benefit exactly one person: himself. But to steal $1 billion without anyone noticing, you can't just take it. You have to make it invisible. And that brings us to the most brilliant and infuriating part of his scheme. How do you buy a $50 million office block in London when your official salary is less than a dentist's? If you or I tried to do that, the taxman would kick down our door in 20 minutes. But Daim didn't buy property. He performed magic. In 2021, the Pandora Papers leak exposed exactly how he did it. And it is a masterclass in financial smoke and mirrors. Imagine you have 2 pockets. Your left pocket is in a tiny island in the Caribbean called the British Virgin Islands. Your right pocket is in Singapore. Step 1. Daim creates a company in the Caribbean called Newton Invest. On paper, it's a legitimate investment firm. In reality, it's an empty shell with no employees, no office, and no phone number. Just a P.O. box. Step 2. He creates a trust in Singapore called Adam Zeta. Again, it looks like a separate entity. Step 3. The Caribbean company loans $47 million to the Singapore Trust. When the British authorities ask, "Where did you get the money to buy this building near St. Paul's Cathedral?" Daim simply points to the paperwork. "I didn't buy it," he says. "I borrowed the money. It's a loan. Standard business practice." On paper, it looks like a debt. In reality, he owns the lender and the borrower. He was loaning money to himself to wash it clean. And the best part? Because these companies were registered in tax havens that refused to share data with Malaysia, the trail went cold the moment it left the country. He did this over and over again. A trust in Jersey, a shell company in Delaware, a foundation in Switzerland. By the time investigators tried to untangle one knot, Daim had tied 5 more. It wasn't just money laundering, it was money vaporizing. But here's the problem with vaporizing money. It has to come from somewhere. It doesn't appear out of thin air. Every dollar sitting in a trust in the Caribbean is a dollar that was removed from somewhere else. And in this case, it wasn't removed from a bank vault. It was removed from the future of an entire nation. July 1997. The Asian financial crisis. If you weren't there, it's hard to describe the panic. Imagine the value of your savings account getting cut in half overnight. Imagine the stock market crashing by 50% in a week. Small businesses across the country closed their doors. Fathers lost their jobs. Families lost their homes. It was an economic apocalypse. But for Daim's inner circle, it was a shopping spree. You see, Daim had surrounded himself with a group of hand-picked cronies. He called them captains of industry. Critics called them proxies. These men controlled the country's highways, its phone lines, its construction projects. They were supposed to be the engines of the economy. But when the crisis hit, the truth came out. These weren't engines. They were parasites. Two massive conglomerates, let's call them the highway kings, were drowning in debt. In a free market, they should have gone bankrupt. They made bad bets, and they lost. But in Daim's world, the family doesn't lose. Instead of letting them fail, the government orchestrated a bailout, a massive, multi-billion-dollar rescue package. But here's the twist that should make your